Hi guys. Suddenly just because I had to go to my lab and get my stuff marked. But yeah, I'm back and so let us begin, I
Hi
guess.
guys.
Oh, sorry, I had my thing playing in the background. I was just checking that it's on and fine, that's fine. So yeah, let me just give you a brief introduction to what we're doing. So essentially to download these files and you can code along with me. So I have that all set up here for us to get started. So the first thing we want to do is look at the requirements, and the first requirement is that we want a unique ID. Now, the way that we do that is that we actually need to make a constructor called getUniqueID. So if we just in inventory, remember if you read the requirements, that it says to do it in inventory. So we're gonna do public and it get unique ID, ident ID, and we're just gonna take in do we take in a parameter? We don't. I don't think we need to take into in a param. Oh yeah, we don't need to take in any parameters. So all we're gonna do is return our unique identifier. Now, what does this unique identifier mean? Like, that's what we need to essentially make. So, what we're going to do here is we need to get private in, and also we need to be able to count all of the another count. I think that should be okay. So count, and we're just going to set that to 0 for now. Um, And essentially in all of these, we want to add this dot unique identifier, and that should be equal to our identifier count. So every time so what does this mean? Essentially all we're doing is every time we create an inventory, whether it's an empty one with a balance, we're always going to make this unique identifier. And every time we want to get this unique identifier, we just need to return it in the same way. My headphones did disconnect. Let me check that real quick. Nope, they're still connected, so you should be able to still hear me. Yeah. So that's how you would essentially go about that, and we need to do it if we're making one over here. This dot unique identifier equals identifier count plus plus. And essentially, all we're doing is to get that unique ID, we're just gonna get, which is just whatever the yeah, this should work. Yep, that should work fine. And the next thing we're gonna do is, let's see, requirement 2, that the user can only have up to 3 inventories. Okay, so if we go to user, we're gonna need to make a few things here. So we want first a private inventory basically. So inventory, so the one that we're on, and we're just gonna call it inventory for now. You can name it whatever you want this bit, but I'm just gonna call it inventory. And we also want to essentially we want to make an inventory array. I feel like I really like arrays of records. It's kind of like an array of records, but I guess not really. Inventories equals new inventory. inventory, and we want it to have a length of 3 because that's the maximum we can have. What else do we need? Yeah, we need to also count. We need to have like an index or a counter, so we can just call it private int. Oh yeah, we can make this private as well because we don't want anyone else to access the different inventories outside of the methods. Private int invent counter, and we can just set it to 0 for now because we're gonna just start on 0. So we don't really need to bother with these things, but we do need some new methods. So the first one we need is going to be the add inventory method. So that's going to be a public method which people can add their accounts to. So public add inventory. Does it return anything? Not that I know of. And let's go. What we do need to take is a parameter of the inventory, so we just can just add that in like this. And all we're going to do is the index is just the invent counter, so we don't really need that. So all we're going to do is if account invent counter, so the inventory counter, invent counter is, sorry, parenthesis, is, let's say, less than or equal to 2, then we know that we can create the account. Oh, what have I done? Sorry, too many parentheses. Close on brackets there. Sorry, too many parentheses. So if that's the case, then we know that we can make it. So we can just do our inventories. And we know that is our inventory counter. And that's going to equal the new account, which is just the inventory. This, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but essentially all I'm doing is if the inventory counter is less than or equal to 2, because we're indexing it 0 to 2. And then essentially all we're doing that if it's valid, then we're going to create this. We're going to be able to add this inventory onto the counter essentially, which should be good. And then remember, we need to increment the invent counter after one is made. And otherwise, we're going to print out an error. And yeah, so that should be good. Next we need to get funds. So we need a method called get funds, and that actually has to return an integer. So public int get funds. So first thing we want is to get the length of the array, which we know is 3, but we shouldn't hard code it, I guess. Actually, to avoid hard coding it, what we should do here is int length equals 3 and put length here, and that should work, I guess. So length, yeah, so I think that length should work here, but we'll see. So we want a running total, so int total equals 0 for now. And if account, sorry, So we want a for loop. So um for in I equals 0, I is less than the length, and we just want to do increment I, which we can go like this. We can do so now. Okay, so if the count is null, we don't want to get it. But if the count, so what we can do is, so we could essentially, if the inventory equals null, but I was told that this is not really the best way to code it. We could add another method which checks if it's null. So we could either do this, or we could make a method that checks if the inventory is null. Print error here. So we could do that. I know I'm not streaming on Discord just because everyone's in classes right now, and I didn't want to make people stressed about joining. So usually I do be getting good feedback, but today I guess not. But yeah, make sure you leave comments or something if you're watching live right now. I'm more than happy to answer them. I'll just check if there are any comments real quick. I don't think there should be. Not many people should be watching it live. It was. I was gonna do a pre-recorded video, but I kind of get stressed editing them. You know, like it's a bit stressful. So, 4 people are watching. That's always nice to know. Hello, everyone. Hope you're enjoying it. I am looking at comments, so if you do have comments, real quick, do let me know. And I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If we get back on track, sorry. So yeah, so if it's null, we want to return an error, and otherwise, we just want to get the balance. And remember, we want the running total of all the accounts. So this is just for one. So if we just get the balance for one, so account I dot get balance. Oh, sorry, not accounts. Inventories I dot get balance. That will just give us one. So all we're going to do is total plus equals that. Pretty simple stuff, if I might say so myself. And we're just going to return this total, make everything happy. Happy methods, happy life. That's not a real saying. I just made that up. Yeah. Next task. Let's see. So this is requirement 1 and 2. So requirement 3 is that we want a method to deposit and withdraw funds. So let's get on with that. This is an easier requirement than the rest, I feel like. So all you want to do is public. These can be void actually. And we want to deposit. And remember, they said that they want 2 integers, so they want the int of the count of the inventory counter. So invent count. I feel like I'm using the same name. I need a different one. I counter. And we also want an amount to deposit. So, yeah, we can just do another if statement to make sure. So if account is less than 3 and the account is not null, oh sorry, not account, inventory, I counter, sorry, is less than 3, and so this is where we get a little bit of logic. and I counter is not null, so not equal to null. Then is that right? Yeah, that should. Oh, sorry. Uh, sorry. We want to make sure that it's the actual inventories. That should work. Is it even called inventories like that? I don't think so. Yeah, that one. What is it doing? Sorry about that. Yeah. I know watching me code, I'm very slow and painfully slow, but it's just because I'm trying to talk it as at the same time. So if that's the case, then all we're gonna do is inventories. And all we're gonna do is just withdraw, or actually this is the deposit one, deposit, and we're just gonna do the amount there, and that should make everything happy. Otherwise, and if it is, then we're just gonna system.out.print run error. Essentially we're just gonna do the same thing, but change deposit to withdraw. So that's that one done. Requirement 4. The class user must have a method to generate a report. Okay, let's make a generate report time. So public string, because we're going to return a string, generate report. How is it spelled? Let me just make sure I'm spelling generate report right. Yeah, report, sorry. And all it's doing is returning name. Oh, sorry. It wants to return it in this format. Name plus this dot name. Oh, sorry. This dot name plus font plus this dot. No, I'm just gonna do get font because we can, and it returns an integer. That should work. I think it should work. Get font. Yeah, get funds returns the total, so it should work theoretically. Only theoretically, don't hold me to it, but let's go to the next requirement. Requirement 5, interest. Every year you get interest on fruit. How interesting. Which takes in an int parameter uh, for the initial balance and a double parameter for the interest rate. So let's do that. So public, and I think we're returning a double, and that's going to be calculate earnings. Uh, so we have the length already. So double total earnings. This is what we're going to return at the end. Equals 0. And we just want to get the account that we're on. oh, we need to take into parameters. I completely forgot. So we want int for balance, and we also want double for interest rate. So what we're doing is account. That's not what I'm doing. Inventory invent1 equals inventory. Oh, sorry, I'm not even in the for loop yet. So what we want to do is we want to calculate the earnings on all of the accounts. So we want to go through every account and then add them together, just like the previous one when we were getting the funds. Does that make sense? So all we're going to do is for I equals 0, I less than, forgot my int. Int is the most important. I'm too used to Python where I don't put ints, but you know what? We vibe. So we're less than length, and what we want to do is IPS plus. Sorry, brain freeze for a second. This is why I was gonna do a pre-recorded video. I feel like I'm waffling so much and taking some pauses. So I do apologize about that. But yeah, so let's go. So inventory invent1. You need this to be capital because Java equals inventories. Yeah, that works for me. And so if this is null, actually we don't want to do anything. We just want to return an error. Sorry, parenthesis in the wrong place again. Null. Error. So many errors. I got a disconnected message, so I don't know if you guys can still hear me. Bear with me one moment. Can you hear me? I hope so. Just checked, so the stream should be. Sorry about that. My headphones just disconnected. Bluetooth, am I right? But otherwise, else we actually want to do something. So all we're gonna do is int balance equals. Is that even how I spell balance? I think so. Invent1 dot get balance. Dive balance. I don't. Do I need to take in per? Hold